Hello everyone, welcome back. As we promised, we are back with another game, and this time it's Ross Cawthon
Yep.
playing his ADP Spiritomb. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about this deck?
Yeah, I think it's certainly very interesting. He had an amazing performance last time with it.
Indeed.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you look at the picture, it looks a bit weird because Ross is not doing his screen share correctly. So instead of sharing his PTCGO screen, he's just sharing his laptop screen, and so the game doesn't fit exactly in the pre-made frame. So it looks a bit awkward on your stream side, but I hope you can see the game properly, anyways. And yeah, he's piloting the same ADP Spiritomb list. He has
Yes, I'm checking his list right now. So, in a second, I'll be able to say for sure if he has the same exact list as last time.
Yeah, I checked it yesterday evening and it looked very close. I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't say that there's no card difference, but it's at least something of 58 cards similar. And I mean, why would you change anything after all?
Exactly, when something works right, what is the point of changing it? So there is the quick ball. You see him is setting up already. I think he went first, attached energy to the ADP, and now he's just waiting on deciding what to do this turn. I think he just Stellar Wished. He needs a way to retreat in order to put this ADP on the active and be able to GX on turn 2, which is absolutely what any ADP decks wants to do.
For
But
sure.
we see him actually, I think he's missed. Oh no, he does have a skateboard. So
Oh yeah.
that's gonna mean... Actually, no, he just has one energy. Sorry, my mistake. There's the building spite from the Spiritomb.
Yep.
See where he goes for his switches the damage on there. And a Big Charm. The Big Charm, what do you think about Big Charm? It's a card that sometimes proves itself to be very helpful in certain matchups. But sometimes it's just superfluous. What do you think about it?
I think it's generally pretty good because putting that ADP to 310 is of course can be very useful to like avoid easy knockouts from something like Baby Blast Cephalon or Mewtwo that copies Flare Strike from Charizard GX. But I think most importantly in this deck is that it has a great synergy with Spiritomb because Spiritomb does extra damage for each damage counter on it. So if you put Big Charm on Spiritomb, it has 90 HP, and suddenly you can put 8 damage counters on it. So it can do 250 damage base, which is amazing, which is even better than Hasselbelt. So
The Big Charm basically does the same job as the belt, with the difference, however, that the Big Charm gives also 30 damage more. Free 30 HP more, which means free damage counters more. Which basically means that this Spiritomb can hit even higher numbers. And you can also attach the Big Charm to the ADP, for example, when you want it to take a lot of damage.
Exactly. So I think in normalization decks, it makes a lot of sense that a lot of people are opting for Metal Frying Pan because they're just scared of fire decks and they value that more than just having the Big Charm. But in this deck, the Big Charm makes so much sense since it has such a great synergy.
Indeed. And we see him, we see the opponent, I think he used a wait and see hammer. I think the opponent used a wait and see hammer on turn 1, and that's why Ross was not able to GX on turn 2. But however, this turn we might see GX in response to the opponent's doing a GX. And what do you think about ADP Zacian against ADP Tom? Because ADP Tom has the advantage of using single price stackers, but ADP Zacian has these massive V Pokemons that are very hard to take down.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I think it's relatively it's pretty much a battle of pace, like in a normal ADPization mirror, because ADPization doesn't really mind too much if opponents using 1 or 2 prizes because it just draws those extra prizes, and Ross also does play the Energy X as part of his consistency engine. So if his opponent is just able to take out like an ADP and a Spiritomb or maybe 2 Dedenne, that will finish the game as well.
Of course, the game really depends on the pace at the beginning, and we see right now how the game we're still in the early phases. We need to see if the opponent whiffs something, if Ross is able to line up his attacks correctly every turn. So this game at the beginning, as any ADP mirror, is very open unless one person does not GX. But we see exactly here, Ross is preparing to do this Altered Creation GX for the full effect. Charges up more damage on the Spiritomb.
Yep.
Let's see if he decides. Yes, he decides to move the damage from the active ADP which it means that ADP is gonna tank a swing from the Zacian next turn, if there is one.
Yeah, and I think as of now it's looking relatively good for Ross, because this Shrine of Punishment is like softening up his opponent's ADP more and more, while he's moving that Shrine damage to Spirit Tomb. So he's preparing his attacker, he's softening up his opponent. He doesn't have his opponent doesn't have an easy way to take the knockout on the ADP anytime soon, because Ross has this big charm that's saving his ADP from getting knocked out by Zacian. So
Indeed.
So
we see a Marnie.
So the opponent will probably go for Ultimate Ray here, not taking any knockout, and which means that Ross will be in a position where he can just run ahead.
Yes, we see a switch actually, so let's see if the opponent is able to actually find a way to attack with Zacian this turn. He goes directly for a switch. Let's see what he wants to go, but he just switches back to that ADP, goes for the safe option, Ultimate Ray, 180 damage. Not much considering this is a humongous creature of 280 HP plus 30. Very hard. What do you think overall about tag teams in the current meta? You know, they have this very big HP. They don't have much damage usually, but however, they're very hard to take down.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty amazing. There's nothing you can say about that. They just take up so little space in your deck, so you have a lot of space for consistency and text, and lots of versatility. And just giving up free prizes is of course huge, but it also means that they're incredibly powerful. So for very little deck space, you can add a lot of value to your deck.
Exactly. Yeah. Tag teams seem to dominate the meta in the past formats. Now with V, we have Zacian V, which is such a revolutionary card for setup, for damage, for anything really. But we see how much the tag teams are still omnipresent in a meta of, when the one-shot possibilities are still available.
Yep.
So we see Ross is getting a Jirachi off his deck. He doesn't have much left, just more attackers and such. So he goes for a Jirachi.
Yeah, he doesn't have an
Stellar
energy
Wish.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs the energy. I don't think he has it right now. Yeah. If he wants to attack with that Spirit Tomb. That Spirit Tomb right now does, with the Building Spite, 220, I think. Because of the ADP buff.
190, I believe. It's 30 plus 10, right? So 30
Oh, yes. Because you cannot go to 6 damage, obviously.
Yeah.
So there is the same thing Catalin.
But for now,
that will be a big swing damage.
Yep, for sure. For now, Ross can't even attack with his ADP, so if he wins an energy bot, he has an energy here. So
he has an energy. That's the Aurora.
Yeah.
I was looking for that. And he even has the custom catcher. So I mean, the Pokemon catcher will go. Yes, he goes for it.
I was about to say.
Really big.
Flipping ahead here can already mean the game, because now he gets 3 prizes on the Dedenne, and his Spirit Tombs will be ready to knock out basically anything.
Exactly. Wow, this deck just swung back so hard. And there's the discarding from the Aurora energy, benches another Spirit Tomb, which means those Pokemon will have the energies if, let's see actually if he plays basic energies. Actually, he does not play any basic energy, so the ADP can actually charge the Spirit Tombs. So as long as he have the energy next turn, Ross will be able to knock out anything on his way.
Yep. He also
once again, ominous posture. See where he goes from here. Do you think he has any possibility of getting stopped?
Like a Mew would be really handy to take a knockout on both Spirit Tomb, but other than that, I think the best option is to just hope that Ross whiffs an energy and will not be able to attack, because
still no energy from the prizes. Oh, that's water energy, that doesn't cut it.
Yep, that doesn't do anything.
See. Interesting choice from Ross to not play any Darkness Energy. Do you share this idea, or would you rather have played Darkness Energy of your own?
I mean, I guess Ross just prioritizes getting the ultimate creation early, and he assumes if he can get it on turn 2, which it will usually mean that he's able to win the game. So playing basic energies to make sure that he can get that makes a lot of sense. Because afterwards, I guess he can afford whiffing a turn. Usually because he just deals so much damage and takes extra prizes. So that might be his thought process.
It's a decision-making choice, that can change a lot of. And obviously, the GX is what ADP needs to do. It's basically the reason, even in the why in this deck it's played. I think Spiritomb is a better attacker against the Mill because you can knock it out yourself. So you dodge Lieutenant Surge if you can, and as well it just attacks with bound energy. So at the same time, ADP here is basically just for the GX. So I think it's a correct choice to just prioritize to GX in the first turns. Also, we're seeing the opponent Jiraching, considering his options. Let's see what can be done in this situation. It's very tough for them. Oh, there's a custom catcher.
Yep.
Knocking out that Spiritomb, however, does not do much in the bench because he will be able to set up another one.
Yeah, exactly. The other one's already ready to go. I mean, it helps a little bit, I guess, because then he's not able to reach the numbers, not that high numbers with Big Charm, because that one Spiritomb he could easily put to 80 damage with the Jinx.
Exactly. That is a fair point. As well, if you knock out the Spiritomb now, you can maybe knock out the ADP next turn with a Great Catcher if you play it. Doing the custom catcher now, if you get Marnid, for example, assures that next turn, if you have a Great Catcher, you have more chances of using it. So we see a Professor Research setting up again. The game is still very much open, and this Zeichan on the active, I think it's a fair choice. They basically had the same HP, the ADP and the Zeichan because of Shrine.
Yep.
So let's see where he goes from now.
Yeah, so Ross will need one tool and an energy in his next turn to win. So he will either need Big Charm or Hustle Belt, both would do it.
Yeah, he will be able to knock out anything that the opponent is able to play. Maybe a fresh ADP could actually survive, but if you put it on the active, it's not going to do much. Actually chooses to attach an energy on Oranguru, very smart. Oranguru is a single prize attacker, which will give him only 2 prizes. And we know that Ross only plays the Pokemon catchers. And there it is. Brave Blade for the knockout.
For the total overkill. 10 damage left, let's see.
10
HP.
Where's your Mew now? And it would be actually the Mew would have not done
that's the Hustle Belt.
much. Oh my god, that's the Hustle Belt. Let's see. If he wants to go for the throat, try to go for this with his Professor Research. Going all for all. Shaking up with his mouse, he's thinking about it. There's the Hustle Belt. I think he has very high chances, right? He plays 4 and 4 for Aurora, for Rainbow.
Yep.
So his chances of getting an energy are very high. Let's see. And there's the Aurora energy.
Yeah, that is. And that
plus
will be
another Hustle Belt. He just needs to sequence it correctly, but we know that Cawthon is a very high skilled player.
Yeah, veteran of the game, has been around forever.
Indeed.
Had made...
Invented some of the craziest deck in the history. Truth, to just mention one.
Yep.
And really, he's just a pillar of the game. There it is, exactly. Anguish Cry for 250 damage.
Yep.
That's Spiritomb. Doing a lot of work. So congratulations to Ross for winning this game.
Yeah.
So what do you think about ADP Spiritomb? It's kind of the new contender, but it has proven itself to be very good, considering its recent results.
Yeah, it can be extremely powerful for sure. I think generally Ross likes to play non-meta decks, so it's like usually his strategy to go to. Maybe that's the reason why he prefers Authorization. It's probably much better against the Baby Blacephalon as well, because you use 1 prizes and not those those fire weak stations that need free energy, so a lot of reasons to play this, I guess. And the consistency has been working wonderfully so far. Of course, he made top 4 last time, and now he's starting 3-0 as well. So
Indeed.
Putting him in
I used to play this ADP Spiritomb in the previous meta, and at the time the problem was to set up, because you didn't have Quick Ball at the time.
Yeah,
you didn't have
really
research.
I remember testing Spiritomb decks for Worlds, and I was like, Pokemon communication is seriously the best we have.
Such a bad card. I'm so happy about Quick Ball. So happy.
Quick Ball definitely helping a lot of decks, especially when you need a lot of Pokemon quickly, or if you need to replace your Pokemon often. So it's wonderful for those one price decks. And yeah.
Exactly, you need this constant flow of Pokemon, but we saw it worked really well, and we will hopefully we'll see again in the Ross throughout the tournament. So I think right now we'll be taking a break. We'll be waiting for the next round. Is that correct, Philip?
Yep, exactly. And so we should be back with round 4 relatively shortly, as some of the pools are probably already finished. So don't go anywhere, and see you soon.
A presto.